As a quick overview, just to set context, approximately 17 million Kenyans are employed, with the informal sector comprising over 80% of all jobs in the economy. And then just by way of context, again, the private sector accounts for over 70% of all formal employment in Kenya. The private sector dominates real estate, sectors like wholesale and retail trade, information and communication. However, the public sector has a bigger share of jobs in certain sectors, the utilities sector and the education sector.
I think what we're trying to do, even as an economy, is to be able to have a lot more understanding of what really comprises the quality of those jobs. It has implications even for government, and as you know, as government tries to widen the tax base, the strategy I think that the KRA has is really to widen that, to incorporate the informal sector, because there are a lot of economic activities that are not captured because of that lack of information.
You realized during the previous administration that we deliberately created a lot of academic institutions, the universities, instead of skill-based programs to basically build the skill base in the country. And I think the current administration is correcting those policy errors that were made by the Kibaki administration, which basically emphasized academic education and left us without enough skills in the manufacturing, especially in the manufacturing area, and also just to grow the SME sector.
In terms of whether public sector employees have been fairly paid, I think I would answer yes. Like I said, at the beginning, as of 2014 and 2015, we found that public sector employees, the average wage in the public sector was higher than the average wage in the private sector.
Kenya is a technology hub. We're one of the bigger players in terms of innovation in technology in this country, in the region, and even in the continent. And so, with the very high level of education, because a lot of these young people are people who are gone to university and have therefore have a fundamental knowledge about various aspects of business or in terms of knowledge. It is actually about making them use those skills towards innovation. But I think also a much more important point with regard to the youth is also about the fact that we have now realized that there were some shortcomings in terms of the education policy we followed. If you remember, several years ago, we had conversion of technology, polytechnics and constituent colleges of universities into fully fledged universities. And what that did is that it created a shortage of skills on very technical aspects that are very important for the manufacturing sector. As a country, we have been more obsessed with a university degree. And what that has done is that it has partially contributed to the very high level of unemployment of young people. But you can see now there's a deliberate policy to invest a lot in what they're calling the TVET, technical and vocational training institutions. And I think that will then result in us having that skill base, and those people can now be deployed much more efficiently, and we're likely to see more jobs created. And it's the same thing that happens in countries like, even in the more developed world, you still require those craftsman skills and very specialized skills.